Hello again, Saber fans. Today I want to do a review of essentially my first two Crimson Dawn sabers, not counting my Dark Dragoon, of course. That was the NeoPixel. So these are in-hilt LEDs. So the LED's here and it just shines through the hollow tube, polycarbonate tube. I got this yesterday. This was a mystery box, and it is the Inquisitor. I love that finish on it. And then this is the shade, the gray shade V2. I've done just a little bit of light weathering on this one, just to kind of really highlight the edges. I really love that dark silver, almost, Beskar look to this dark gray anodizing. But I wanted to do a quick review of both of them, just kind of share my thoughts and opinions. So one of the first things that I noticed about all of the Crimson Dawn sabers that I've gotten so far, and my experience with lightsabers prior to this was almost exclusively with Ultra Sabers, and these sabers are much thinner, which is really great for spinning, especially on this shade right here. You've got this really nice choke point. There's a lesser choke point here that I've heard a lot of people that do a lot of dueling prefer to hold that up here as well. But I really like that. And then, of course, with the Inquisitor, it has a lot of this little etching. You can even see kind of down here is kind of a corner edge. It just really looks very impressive and new age. I will say, however, this is not my style aesthetically. Just to have it kind of, chopped up, as it were, with little squares all over the hilt. That I definitely think that this is a beautiful saber, but it's definitely not to my taste. But let me show you some of the features. So I'm going to wake both of these up. So they both have a hibernation mode. So you have to kind of hold for 3 seconds. And as you can hear, that's pretty loud, but both of their switches are illuminated. Now it started at loud sound, so I'm actually going to set both of these to softer sound. So the way you do that is to hold for 1 blink.
No sound.
And actually that was no sound, so that may have actually been softer sound, so that's pretty loud. Let's see about this one.
No sound.
So yeah, both of them were at no sound, so let's
Loud sound.
goes to loud sound.
Softer sound.
So softer sound, that's what we want. So both of these have the same, I'll knock the camera there for a minute. So both of these have the same soundboard and the color changing LED. So I'll just kind of go over some of the features there. So I've set that to red. You can hear that swing. There's 6 sound fonts. I won't go over, all of the sound fonts and all that, because there's plenty of YouTube videos out there that kind of show that. But I will show. You hold for 2 blinks, and then press and hold, and it will start to cycle through the colors. So right now I've got this set to red, but you see it went to yellow. Now it's at green. And then from green it'll go to a light blue, from light blue to kind of a dark blue, and then from the blue, sometimes it'll cycle back, so it's going back to light blue. I think it's going to go back to green, or actually it'll go to white. So you can see some of that color on my carapace here. But eventually it will cycle to purple and then back to red, and that's where we started. So. But when you get the color that you like, you just let go and then press. You'll get that blaster deflect, and you're ready to go. Another thing that I like about all of the Crimson Dawn sabers, they all come with flash on clash. Other saber companies, that's a pretty expensive upcharge. So I really enjoy that this comes with it default. Now to shut it off, you just hold for 3 seconds. And what I really like about their soundboard is that the activation and the deactivation are, instead of just being on or off, it's a slow fade. So let me turn this one on and you can see. So it kind of slowly fades. And, you know, that's as close as tricking your eye to it kind of illuminating from the hilt and going through. So, you know, it's a really good way if you don't want to spend the extra on NeoPixel, or if you're planning on really hard dueling with this, you don't necessarily have to do that. So, but yeah, this was the Inquisitor and the Shade. And that was kind of my review of those two in particular. Now I do want to shift gears and real quick, and I just want to show this enhanced red Dayblade. I'm going to do another review when I actually have a Shade staff that I've made some modifications to. I'm going to do a review of that a little later, and in that blade I have photon green blades, and I'll kind of go over what that looks like, but for now I want to show this enhanced red. So of course you've got these retention screws right here. All of the Crimson Dawn sabers come with the retention wrench and plenty of extra screws because they are kind of small. So that's another thing that I really like about Crimson Dawn, is that they really include all of that extra stuff for you. All right, so take that blade out. And again, I've got this set to red, and this is an enhanced red. You know, it looks pink, but it really does have a nice red effect. Now what's cool about both the enhanced red and the photon blades is that they're reactive to different color. So you saw me scroll through the colors on the shades. I'm going to do that on this as well. And you'll notice that it has a very peculiar effect. So now we're going into, now this is going into green, but I will say that it looks very yellow on camera, and in a photon blade, again, I'll have that video up a little later. It's a really nice yellow on camera. I've had a really hard time getting yellows on camera that don't just look like a washed out white, even though in person they look really, really rich and saturated. But with the photon blade, I've managed to do that, and I'll show you guys that later. But let's keep scrolling through the colors here. So here is very interesting because this is actually blue, but on camera it is a very rich purple. And if I can get this close to the camera, it's got an interesting coring effect where you can see kind of the pinkish red on the outside with kind of the blue in the middle, and that's more like what you see in real life. But on camera, this comes off as a really nice rich purple. And kind of the same thing happens as you scroll to other colors. So this is the lighter blue, which does kind of look a little bit more washed out. But then kind of going into purple, this is an really rich, saturated, like hot pink almost. Oh, there it is. This is that right before it got back to red, it kind of went to that hot pink. So it's a really interesting effect. So I like this kind of as a show blade for these. But that was just my review with a little extra on the enhanced red Dayblade, and I hope you guys enjoy.